you want me to go?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. So you're going to unpause. You're going to record again.
Yes.
Okay. And I think we are doing this one here. Okay, welcome. Oh, wait, am I sharing my screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's a detail. Let's just do that. I realized that as I was doing this, I go, it looks different. I must not be sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. Now I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so we've completed digital strategy and content. We completed social selling, e-commerce, with some apps. Oh my goodness, that was a lot to do in an hour and a half. And now we're going to talk about, I think I'm going to start with reputation management. And then I'm doing, I think email marketing, and then social social customer service. So that's the direction we're going into. So let's just start. So how do you participate? Just a reminder, I do have some questions again along for this one. So just put it into the chat. And then if you've been with us for all 3 sessions, you will receive a certification by the end of it, which is so cool. I think within 5 or 7 days of tomorrow. So let's just continue. So what is reputation management, do you think? Let's just put that into the chat. Let's start over again with our chats for this session. What do you think reputation management is? Online reputation management. What do you think? More than 4 people are thinking, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. I feel like I'm watching some sort of bidding on something. Okay. Oh, we're really going up there. Awesome. Can I even see these? No. Okay. So what is it? It's reputation management is the effort to influence how people think of you or your brand. So you or your company. So there's reputation management that we could do for ourselves if we are a business professional that works for a company. And there's reputation management we can do for our company. So why is reputation management important, do you think? Why do you think it's important? Who cares about your reputation or your company's reputation? So big orange thing means questions. So why do you think? So you can put that into the chat. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see yourselves on there. I'm going to move this over here. Okay. So why is it important? Good reputation management helps business gain trust. So it's all about the trust. Potential clients are going to look at reviews of your company before they work with you. Often is what's going on. They're going to, of course, see if, that subconscious, they are going to decide subconsciously if their friends have engaged with you and if they subconsciously trust you. But then when they're conscious, and they're actually conscious, not that they're unconscious, but when they're consciously going to search for you, they are going to look for the reviews and what others have said about you. So this is why reputation is so important. And 88% of consumers actually believe what the online review clients say. So it's important. They actually do believe it. So what is reputation management, do you think, in social media? So I'm not going to let you take too long on this one. And it's pretty much, it's interesting. It's not only how many stars you have, but it's also reputation management is the process of tracking and monitoring, ultimately seeing if someone is saying something negative about you and eliminating the negative conversation and turning it into something positive. So someone earlier on the chat mentioned Hootsuite. So if this is something that you're interested in, reputation management, you can, tools like Hootsuite, Agora Plus, Sprout Social are essential in listening to what people are saying about you. So Hootsuite's one of the ones that I really like and I've used for many years. And I had to recently, for one of my clients, do a audit on tools for them to use. And I had to audit and management tools for social media posting and for listening for their reputation. And I reviewed Hootsuite, Sprout Social, Agora Plus, and Buffer. And it ended up that we went with Agora Plus, which I thought was interesting. It was new to me, I have to admit. But what we liked about it is it had an integration with Canva. Canva was built into it. So I could go to Agora Plus and use the Canva tool set to change and edit my photos, which was really cool. It also made it really easy, if I recall, to post to Instagram and then to change that post and post it to Facebook and so forth. So it was a really good tool. But the listening part is where these tools really help, especially, like I said, if you're only posting to Instagram and Facebook, you could really do it just from Facebook, because Facebook has a great integration into Instagram now through the Creative Studio. But you could, you can't, you can listen, but not to the same degree. The way you can listen on Hootsuite or Agora Plus or Sprout Social is you can listen for your company's name. And there could be a list that you say anytime someone talks about your company. You can listen for anyone that's saying, in the Belleville area, I'm buying a new car. And all of a sudden you're seeing everyone that talks about buying a new car. Now you can reply to them to saying, hey, we have a, some sort of special going on right now that we'd like to let you know about. So it's kind of like, Big Sister is watching you, but it's that kind of listening. If you can also listen for positive comments or negative comments, it's really cool. So you can actually listen on these tools for how people are, their sentiments on your company. So that's one of the things that may be something you're not interested in, but if it is, there are tools out there for things like that. So why is reputation management on social important? 84% of consumers will buy from a brand that they follow on social over someone they don't. And they listening actively for opportunities improve your brand credibility. So I remember the old example that I used to use, but I don't use it anymore because no one's flying. But you get off a flight and you go onto social and you'll say, that was the worst flight ever, blah, blah, blah. And then that person would automatically get a private message from a competitive company, from a competitive airline, saying, here is a discount for your next flight. Sorry you had a problem with who. So it's something that you can listen for. So the 3 steps to online reputation management are: know what you're monitoring and why. So if you are going to monitor online, know what you're monitoring and why. And then you want to listen for it. You want a tool like Hootsuite that you're going to listen for and make sure you're able to act, and encourage more social reviews. And that's something I'll show you. So what do you think you can monitor online to help your reputation? I kind of talked a little bit about it just now. So what do you think you could monitor online to watch your reputation? You can monitor your company name. If you have unique products, you can monitor your product names. You can monitor high profile employees. If someone is trash talking one of your CEOs or your managers, so you can monitor for names. Well, you'll get an alert if someone's talking about your products, someone's talking about an employee name. So this is basically having these tools that allow you to bring in, and on these lists, anyone that has mentioned any of your clients, your product names, and you see that and you're able to reply if you want. Popular keywords, competitors. If someone is talking about one of your competitors and they're saying positive or negative things, you might want to monitor that. Industry groups, associations. So when I'm going to speak at a conference where it's perhaps the chambers of commerce across Ontario, I will do ahead of time on Hootsuite, I will do a list where it's monitoring all the chambers so I can see what's going on before I go to that conference. So at least I'm talking in the know. So versus just, not knowing what their key issues are. And then the community. If I'm going to a new community, I remember going up to Sudbury once and to do some presentations, and everyone was complaining about potholes. So anyways, it was just interesting. So I was listening to a specific community and what they're all talking about. So where can you listen or monitor? Where can you listen or monitor? I already shared with you. Basically, you can listen on monitor on social or on Google. And what you want to do is then don't just listen and ignore it if someone is saying something negative about your company. Be the quarterback. Decide how you're going to react. Maybe you can give the information that someone's talking about to someone in your organization if you have a large organization that can act on it. So this is one tool that I like. It's called Google Alerts. So I put in the Google Alerts my own name. So if I end up in the news and I don't know about it, that would be pretty weird. But and I also put my client names in there. So all you do is google.com/alerts. And I put in up here, create an alert. Hi, sweetheart. Here you go. And I put in create an alert. And then you're able to indicate how often do you want this alert emailed to you. So I have my clients that my recurring clients on here. So if they end up in the news, I want to know about it. And then I'll end up, or if they end up on Google, if Google is seeing something new about them, I've asked it to send me an email once a day, because that's for me more than enough. I think for my own name, I've asked it to send it as it happens. I go, why am I in the news? So that's something you can do, and it's kind of cool. It's an easy way to listen. So this is what the alerts look like. You put in the name, how often, once a day, automatic, what language, how many times, only the best results. I'm not sure what that means. And then where do you want the Google alert to go to? So in this case, I want it to go to my email. So this is listening on Hootsuite. Someone mentioned Hootsuite earlier. It happens to be the one that I use. This is by column when I'm talking about columns. So this one is on Twitter. I have a list on Twitter of anyone that I think is doing a good job on social media. I've put them into a list. So I go to that to see what's new on social media. So there's a number of different companies out there like Hootsuite that put out some great articles. Social Media Today, they put out some great articles. So that's how I stay in the know. So I'm listening so that I remain an expert in what I do. So this one is a column on if anyone mentions me on Facebook. So if anyone anywhere mentions my company on Facebook, I get a notification. It goes in that list. This one is mentioning 123 Digital Power. This one is a list. I put together a list of every single Chamber of Commerce in Ontario. So I look at that to see if they have any posts that they're putting out, because they're specific. At that time when I did this chart, I was working with them quite a bit. So what this does is when you go into Sprout Social, I know it's hard to see, but I'll just share with you, you can reply to one of these comments as a comment, right? So this would be Twitter. I would be able to like it if I want. I could comment on it. I could retweet it if I wanted to out to my stream on Facebook. Here's one, Trent Hills. They're talking about a session I was doing. So I could comment right into Facebook, because this one's Facebook. I could share it out to my own Facebook. So you can have lists from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I don't know if you could do WhatsApp. I know there was some people from Europe on. I'm not sure if you can do WhatsApp. One reason we didn't like Hootsuite for that one company was because it doesn't listen. I couldn't post to their Google listing, and they had a lot of Google listings. So we needed to have a tool that you could post to their Google listings. And Aurora Plus said that they were going to add that feature in the next little while. Hootsuite didn't say they were going to add it. And it was Sprout Social, I think, was one that you could actually future post to your Google listing. So that was just a consideration that we had. So this is kind of how you listen. But from here, you can also go right here and click on this plume and post into the future. So that's one of the things that you can do. So this is just, I'm just going to continue. I don't need to show this to you again. But this is how you edit the stream. If I go into adding a stream, like meeting a list, a column, what you're going to do is you're going to click on add a stream at the top of Hootsuite, and they all behave the same. And I can say, well, what am I listening to? Am I listening to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube? So I'm saying Twitter, and I want it to be 123 Digital Power, which is my Twitter account. So then you're able to listen to, these are the queries. I want to listen to this particular hashtag, or I want to listen to anything that's coming from, and I could put in all their handles. So anything that's coming from this long list of handles. But see, this one's kind of cool, a fail. I could listen to colon open bracket is a sad face. So that would be a fail. And then I would put in a keyword or a competitor's handle. So I'm listening for anyone that's sad with one of my competitors, and that would show up on one of my lists. So it's kind of cool. Just wanted to share that with you. But you can also tell it not to listen for around the world. You can geocode it and say, I only want to listen to those in a certain area where it's around me. So in a certain geography. So this is kind of, sorry, this shows you a little bit larger what you're able to, so a fail containing a certain word. So you put the word and then you put the little frowny face if you're looking to have everyone that has been upset with a specific thing. So that's really cool. So that's what,
Sophie.
Yes, go ahead.
Someone asked, could you please tell us the main difference between Hootsuite and Buffer?
I don't know the main difference between Hootsuite and Buffer. I think Buffer is less expensive. I think it's almost free. Hootsuite is more expensive. I think I've got a lot more features on Hootsuite. And I don't remember being able to do this on Buffer, these types of queries. So I think those would probably be some of the, but I don't know all of the differences. Buffer I would use if someone is just starting out and they don't want to spend a very much money and they need something that's solid. Buffer is a good solid one to start with. And then Hootsuite costs a little bit more. And so then I would work my way up to Hootsuite or Agora Plus. I like Sprout Social. It has really great reports, but as I say that, each of the individual platforms, their reports have gotten better and better over the time. So I would think Buffer would be an entry point. Hootsuite would be a little bit more sophisticated. Hope that helps. So when you're listening, what you want to do is respond to the messages, listen for customer problems, offer solutions. So you really want to be there where you're actually not just listening and you see that they're upset with your company. You do want to be responsive. People are looking for responses right away. So now the last thing for reputation management is to ask for more reviews. You really want to ask for more reviews. As I had mentioned before, a lot of the companies, some of the companies I work with, they will put the Google listing, the Google My Business on their phone, and they will have the link to it, and they will text the Google My Business link that allows people to enter a review right away to people, and that's really cool. So on Google, you can ask for more reviews. On social, you can ask for more reviews. You can send an email with that link to your favorite clients after you've had a great encounter with them. You can send them an email or a text message with the link asking them for more reviews. So it's something you got to figure out in your process. So maybe after you've sold a car and your clients are delighted because everyone is so happy as soon as they get their car, to send them the review for them to fill in right away. That would be really cool. So this is an example, Dow Carn. I showed this one, I think, to you earlier. I'm seeing that they have 10 reviews and all these 5 stars. So if I click on this, what'll come up is their reviews. So this is where their reviews are. And so as a business owner, what I always suggest you do is have one review in your back pocket that's positive that you don't answer, and reply. So look at your reviews. If I was signed in as Dal Karn, I don't manage their account, but if I was signed into them, you would see the ability for me to be able to reply. So I could reply to this review and say, thank you very much. We haven't dealt with them in the last, we've dealt with them for the last 5 years, always given us excellent prompt service. And so I would reply to them and say, thank you so much, Ken. What I love it is when they actually mention an employee's name. I love that in a review. And often they do that for Kawartha TV and Stereo. They'll say, thank you so much. It was great talking to Sean, told us so much about our TV and we didn't know. So I'll reply, thank you so much. We look forward to letting Sean know your feedback. And if you'd like more, so it's really great. Now, what happens is the way Google presents the reviews, it's not by the last review you've just had, and it's not by the best to the worst. It's by the review you've spent the most time with. So if you have a negative review and you've spent a lot of time replying to them, it's going to always share that negative review. So with a negative review, you want to reply to it, keep it short, and try and take it offline. Sorry for your experience. Here is our phone number. Please give us a call. We'd like to help you with your issue. And then reply to a positive review, but make sure you reply and write a lot of information. If you can say, thank you very much. We look forward to letting Sean know all about your experience. If you want some more information on that product you were looking at, here's the link. I mean, sometimes it's not appropriate to give them more information, but if you can, try and make it as long as possible, because then that one is the one that's going to be shared. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. Facebook and Google behave the same way with reviews. It's going to reply, it's going to show the ones that you've had the most engagement with. So because I'm logging, I'm not a editor for them, I can write a review here if I want to. So what happens is now I've logged into, I'm not managing these guys right now. I was just doing training with them not too long ago. So Ashburn and Foot and Ankle Center. So if I log into the back end of their Google My Business and I click on home, you can see share review form right over here. So that's where you're going to find it. When you log into your Google My Business account, you click on home over here. Over here, you're going to see share my review form. This is the link that you want to make sure that you send out to people who have just had a great relationship with you, who have had a great encounter, so that they can click on that and it'll automatically open the review on Google and they can fill it in. So that really helps your SEO, it helps your reputation, and it's a little thing, but it goes a long way. So that's one thing that I really suggest. You may want to put it on your emails that you send out to clients. So it's up to you, but it exists, it's there, and it might be something you want to do a little bit more of. Okay, so on Facebook, this is obviously from the summertime, but on Facebook, you can see reviews are right here. So it looks like, so if you click on reviews, you can hide your reviews on Facebook. You can't hide them on Google, but you can hide them on Facebook if you want. I have some clients who had old negative reviews. You can't delete them, unfortunately. So what they've done, and I don't suggest this personally, but they've gone in, they've clicked on reviews and they've clicked on this tab and they've turned off their reviews. So if you want, you can do that, or you can click them on. If you click them on, it gives you the ability to copy this link. So maybe you've just had a great encounter with somebody and they're really happy with you and you'd like them to give you a review, and you can ask them, would you prefer to give us a review on Facebook or on LinkedIn, if you happen to be on LinkedIn, or on Google? So if it happens to be on Facebook, this is the URL you would give them. So that you would give that to them, and then they would be able to put the review on Facebook. So you'd copy that and it automatically goes to this page. And this is where they could automatically fill in their review, which is really cool. Okay.
We
So
have a question here about reviews.
yes.
Someone just asked, can you post a Google review on Facebook, or what other platforms can you share your reviews on with Google?
You can't share them, but what I do is I go to my, oh, I'm going to go back to that. I'll go to my Facebook and I'll recreate them. Is this going to come up in a, I'll show you on Canva too, because I put them in Canva first. I go to Canva and I will go into Canva and I will just go back. I haven't done it for a while because everyone's been so busy. Here's one that I do for Amanda Luz, which is a restaurant in town. So I go in and I will check her Google reviews every so often. And I make it look like her branding from what I've done in the past for her. But I'll go in and I'll cut and paste the review right from, I shorten it often from Google and I turn it into a post. So, and people seem to like those because I usually like, I always say like have real people in your post, make it more authentic, but somehow people don't seem to mind reading the reviews. So this is the ones I do for Kawartha TV and Stereo. I do their reviews and they're always talking about Sean. He does a great job. And then this one, you know, they just, so I do these on an ongoing basis. And these are all from their Google listing for that question. So I'm recreating it on Canva and then using it as posts. And I do it for Knock on Wood as well. Anyways, there's the Knock on Wood. So Knock on Woods, I've tried to make them look a little different. So they all got their own branding on it. And so all of the Knock on Wood ones always have this word testimonial on it when I do those. And sometimes these ones will have a shorter version and I'll put the longer version to go along with it as the post. So I hope that helps. Now I just need to find my PowerPoint. Okay. Email this one. Okay, from current slide. Good. So 6 tips to reputation management, to business reputation management. Obviously, create your content. We had the first presentation we talked together about is looking at your content out for a month. So make sure you're driving the conversation. Make sure you're putting out there what you want them to know about you. Publish the content. Perhaps if you have a blog or a part of your website where you're able to put new information, but put your website, put the content we're talking about on your Google listing, on Facebook, whatever your platforms are. And then get your company up to at least 6 reviews on each of your platforms. That's what and I don't know why I say 6, but a handful of reviews on each of your platforms just to get people to believe these reviews or to get a significant number. And then maintain your SEO by optimizing your photos, as I showed you on the website for putting up your products. You want to do that across your entire website platform. We didn't talk about that at all, but optimize and maintain your SEO. And just act and listen. If someone is saying something negative, make sure you act right away and turn it into a positive. So those are the kind of things you want to do. Personal reputation. If you want to, you can look at this on your own because I don't want to time out again. But for your personal reputation, I have my Google list, my LinkedIn. LinkedIn is optimized where if you search for your human name and you have a LinkedIn account, your LinkedIn profile is going to come up for your human self. So my biggest advice to you is to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is filled in, that you've got a great photo, got a great bio, your background is filled in. And if you can, write an article about what you believe in. Maybe if you have some examples of your work, you can attach it to your LinkedIn profile. So your LinkedIn profile really helps drive your reputation. So you want to make sure that it's polished. So that's one of the things I wanted to share with you.
We have another question. Is there a better time of the month to post content?
Every company is different. I was talking to this one company yesterday where her clients are on line at 9 p.m., which is amazing because my clients are all the ones I manage. They're starting to leave the social media at 9 p.m. So day of the week, I would suggest the best time to post is when it's raining out and ice raining. Nothing to do with day of the week, but if I have information that I want to post, or if I have a contest I want to do, or if I have a flash sale that I'm doing for a client, and I look at the weather, I know this sounds crazy, and I see, especially with lockdown, that it's going to be a horrible day out there, I will encourage them. I'll ask them, can we do your flash sale on, Saturday or Wednesday, whatever day that ice rain is coming? Because our sales go through the roof when I do something when the weather is horrible. If the weather's really nice out, my online sales decrease. So that's another thing. And the best way to figure out what day is your biggest day is to go into your own stats and to look at, let me go into knock on wood. If I go into knock on wood and I'm logged in now as I'm acting as knock on wood in Facebook, I'm going to go to insights. And where I like to go when I go into insights is right here to posts. And on posts, what this helps me do is see what day of the week most of my people are online. So this is Wednesday I'm looking at. So you can see that the darker line changes. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's showing me, like I said, at 9 o'clock, these guys are gone. They're offline. So I don't post anything past, if I can, this time because they're all gone. This is a perfect time to post for them, but it looks totally different than that person who I was working with yesterday. Hers go up at 9. So and then what I do is I go down here and I look at the behavior. What has which of these posts have gotten the most engagement? And these are all organic posts. I haven't boosted anything for a while with these guys. So which one has got the kind of engagement we'd like? And so basically this is showing you here engagement. This is showing you reach. So the more engagement I have, the more reach I have. So one of the posts that do, so I look to see every month I go and I look and I learn from it. I say, okay, what time of day works best? When am I getting the most engagement? And so it's different on this company than it is on Amadella's, than it is on Chesler Shoes. So if I look at this one, which did pretty good, the types of posts that do really well for these people are the ones where I ask their audience to tell me which of the particular whatever I'm showing they like the best. So it's which is your favorite style, and people will comment as to which their favorite style is based on whatever pictures I'm putting up. So you could do that with cars for sure. You could do it with interiors. You could do it with many different things. You might want to do it with so this one did pretty good too. It was the same living room, but 4 different rugs. And so that was pretty cool. So no boosts, just asking people for their opinion. And those do fairly well. But again, what time of day and which day of the week, it really depends. Honestly, I don't like posting on Monday. I try to avoid Mondays with all my clients because I find that day doesn't work very well. And Saturdays and Sundays mornings work really well. COVID has messed everything up as far as when people are online, but that's what I'm saying when it's ugly out, people are really online. So let's just continue here for a second. So customer relationships, what is customer relations? Customer relationship is the bond between you and your client. So what they're looking for, whether it's marketing, sales, or customer, be to respond quickly, especially with online, and people have the ability to access you by messenger. They want you to act on the feedback. So if they have a question, they want you to actually answer them with more information to help them make a buying decision. They want you to have empathy. They want you to maintain customer service options. They don't want you to provide, well, just give us a call, like one channel. They really do want you to be available in many different channels. So that's one of the things with COVID has changed significantly, is people are expecting you to reply through Messenger. So what I do is I make my Messenger be the vehicle that the person that normally answers the phone also has access to Messenger, so they're replying to those. And so what I'll show you on Facebook is this is Facebook, business.facebook.com. So when you're on your Facebook channel, you're able to go to, hope there's no phone numbers or anything you're not supposed to see. No, good. You're able to go into the back end, and this is showing you, I am seeing on my inbox, so Chesler Shoes, their internal team views this and they reply right away. So I am seeing that in for hours. They're asking us for, size, and they are getting back to them right away, and it's helped increase their sales. Now, if I wanted to look at posts, I am also in one place seeing all of the comments that people have put in our posts, which is really cool. If I go back to the inbox, one of the things that, oh, good. Okay, there's no information over there. Just need to make sure. What you can do is you can actually mark this as unread. I can move it to spam if I wanted to. I can mark it as done. I can mark it as a follow-up to remember to follow up. But I can also go in here and put notes about this client. Maybe Carolyn is someone that bought some really cool boots 3 weeks or a month ago or something. And I know she's looking forward to us reopening in Belleville. So I'm going to put a note here for myself. Maybe I'm going to indicate, and you can add labels too. You can add different labels to this. It could be a recurring client. Maybe you want to write down. Maybe you want to write down something about this person's a bully. I'm making that up. Maybe you want to add their maybe you want to add their phone number or their birthday. So it's really cool. Facebook has really outdone themselves in trying to make it easy to manage your customer service through one location. So some of my clients have taken advantage of this, like Chesler Shoes, like Tiny Greens. And it's not just Facebook, it's also Instagram, because they own each other. It's in one place. So it's really, really mind-boggling. So when someone earlier said, should you be using Hootsuite? I honestly didn't really read everything you said. So yeah, I use Hootsuite for listening. I use Hootsuite if I'm posting out to a client that is beyond just Facebook and Instagram. But they've made this such a cool one place to go for customer service and customer management that, assign a conversation too. So these are all the people that are admins in Chesler Shoes. So you can say this person's asking a question and say, I think, the only person I think will know the answer to this is Cara. She's the owner, or maybe Madison. She's the one that's managing this she's the one that actually watches this. I'm going to assign it. So she's going to get a notification when she's on Facebook, letting her know that there has been somebody that is asking a question and she needs to look at it. So I really wanted to share that with you. I find it really pretty amazing. Actually, I've never looked on this one, what happens to commerce. I'm scared to show you something I haven't looked at because I don't want to, you know what, I'm going to get out of there. I don't want to show you things that I'm not supposed to. So I'm going to get out of there, help. So sorry about that. Okay, so what I wanted to show you here was customer service. And I really do see that this has become really great tool that Facebook has given us access to in the last little while. Okay, so I think I'm almost done this page. Then we're going to go on to email marketing, or this topic. So 7 ways to build relationships. As I said, be available. Oh, that's another thing you can do on Facebook. Frequently asked questions, not frequently questions asked. FAQs. No, FAQs. Okay, that's wrong. Anyways, you can set it up where I just was on Facebook, where if somebody comes to ask you a question on the messenger, you can actually give it, would you like, you can actually give some predetermined answers. Maybe everyone is asking you for your hours right now because COVID has changed the hours. So you can actually have it respond with an automated, sorry, I've got this cough drop in my mouth. I don't want to swallow it, I'll choke. But you can automatically respond with what most of the questions have been automatically. So some people don't mind the automatic response if it's going to save them time, but sometimes the automatic responses are dumb. Say, why are you telling me that? I don't care about that. So think it through when you do the automatic response. Stay positive, no matter how, sideways and the conversation is going. Always try and exceed their expectations. And if you have a loyalty program, someone asked earlier, should we have a customer only location on our website? Well, if you're able to and it can introduce a customer loyalty program, that's awesome. And so I'm just going to share that with you. Be available. I just like this picture, so I thought I'd put it in there. And that was on the top of a summit as we were traveling through Peru. It was very cool. When we were there, it was interesting. As soon as we got there, WhatsApp is not something that's popular in this area that we live in. But down there, the guy that owned the trekking company that we were using gave us his WhatsApp ID, made us download WhatsApp when we got there. And we had any questions, no matter where we were, he was available for us all the time through WhatsApp. So their customer service was just all on. It was really cool. So I don't think I need to stay on this very long. Facebook Messenger. Not going to stay on that one. And I'm not going to stay on that one. 7 ways to, not going to stay on that one. Okay, I am going to, I already went there. This was to show you how you can do everything from Facebook. And I already showed you that. Okay, and this is also just showing you, I went live to show you exactly this on Facebook. Okay, so this is the end of this one. Now I'm going over to email marketing. And as I do that, are there any sign offs on that? I'm going to actually have time, I think, at the end of this for more just just general questions too, is what I've tried to make happen. Okay, email marketing is our last topic of today. So, why is email marketing is what I'm going to talk about. How does it increase your sales, best practices, and some tools? So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. So why do you think email marketing is important? So this is where you can just go busy and let me know. Why do you think email marketing is important? Come on, it's the home stretch. I've been talking all day. Pump up your energy level. You can do it. 45 minutes is left. Okay. So it's important because your return on investment is really high with email marketing. And I'm finding this personally when I send something out with Cortha TV and Stereo, because that's the one that I pretty much use email marketing the most with for my clients. And we get, like I said, a sellout in the vacuums where we wouldn't get it out if a sellout if I'm doing just a post. So it's people who we've already have a relationship. They've either bought from us or they've chosen to be in our list. So I'm finding that it really is the highest return on investment, which is really cool. So some of the tools that are out there, and you'll get this in the afternoon handout that Brianna's going to send you, boasts a 4,200 ROI in email marketing. So compared to some of the other tools. So what topics work well when you're sending out an email? What topics would you send out an email in? What topics do you think work well? And why would you use email marketing in the first place? What do you think for your own company? Definitely seasonal changes. If something is coming up, definitely EVP coupons. Definitely reminders of maybe a new website. If you have a new website, definitely there's all, let's take a look at what you guys are thinking. What do you think? What would you send out email marketing for? And I'm hoping you're giving each other great ideas as you're doing this. I always do upcoming webinars, and then I will also do, if I'm happening to be volunteering somewhere and they have something I'd like people to know about, I might add that. Sometimes I'll do some pictures of my latest trip. So So I don't know why I said talented, but personalized, targeted. Thank you. That would make a lot more sense. So if somebody has signed up for my email list and they tell me they're interested in a specific topic, like they want more information on Facebook, but they don't want information on Instagram, then I'm going to put them in a email list that's in my constant contact, which is what I happen to use. And I'm going to tag them with Facebook. So I'm going to make sure when I'm sending out an email, I'm targeting them with what they wanted to know about. So you can personalize it as well, because I make sure when I have my email list that I have their first name, their email, what their interests are, perhaps the last time they took a webinar from me. And then when I send it out, it's going to say, hi, Scott, how are you doing? And something about, hope you enjoyed the webinar last week. So it's personalized, it's real. But Scott doesn't know that I've also sent it out to Peter and to Marlene. And what the system has done is it's changed from Scott to Peter, and then from Peter to Marlene. And it's very personalized because I've now made a list of people that came to this session, and I'm personalizing it. And I said, as promised, in that session, here is like if this was one that I actually had people sign up, I would probably give them the course pack to it. And then I would also say, as promised, here is the audit, the audit pack, the audit, how to do your digital marketing audit. So I'm following up with something that they wanted. And by the way, here's the schedule to the next webinar. So I really personalize it. So content that builds credibility. I will often send out, for example, when we had trends for 2021, I came up with a video on what the trends were for 2021 for social media, for digital marketing. I sent that out. So hopefully that builds some credibility to people that go, okay, she's somebody I trust. Content boosts sales. And that I see all the time with Kawartha TV and Serio. It's content I am going to put in there, something that's going to boost sales. Better relationship management. Topics to optimize my budget, and topics that direct people back to my website. So you can also on your website have, if somebody is looking at something and they've got something in your shopping cart, a lot of the tools that we saw before when we looked at Shopify, or when we looked at PayPal, or when we looked at any of those tools, they have an abandoned cart automatic email that they can send. So it's not what I'm talking about here, but that's something that I should have mentioned there, or maybe, but the abandoned shopping cart is something that's really cool. It's like, okay, we know you were interested in this product. It'll actually grab the product, put it in the email, and say, thank you for looking at this product. Do you need any more help? And you can customize what it says. And you can say, hey, Scott, you're looking at this home theater system. If you need more help, please call Sean. Sean, he's sitting by to help you. So you can really, really customize and target how you reply from your e-commerce systems that you guys are looking at putting in, as well as personalize your emails that are going out. Okay. So that's really cool. And a lot of people, we've gotten better and better at that. So why is defining your audience so important? When you are creating your list, you need to know who your target audience is. Why do you think that's important? Oh, this means that you're supposed to enter this. Okay, so why do you think that's important? Whoops, because you want to create a buyer's persona to home in on the characteristics. So just like every other channel, are they Instagram or are they on Facebook? You need to know what they're interested in when you're emailing them. So if they happen to be a client who has already just bought a car from you, you're not going to send them information about that same car. It doesn't make any sense. But maybe you're going to put them on another list. You're going to put some sort of customer relationship management system in place, which you can do in these systems, where maybe they have and you probably have that already built into your service area, where they get an email reminder on their service requests. So those are some of the things that you want to be looking at, as to, if you know the customer well and you know they're interested in a certain product, that's why you're trying to build your specific audience. So how do you define your target audience? By industry, sometimes, depending on the type of business you're in. So in your case, in some cases of people that I've been talking that are on this call, it might not be by industry, it might be by interests. So for me, it's by industry. I want to know if you are a retailer, if you're a B2B, if you're a chamber of commerce, like if you have members that you're accountable for. I want to know which region you're in, because if I have a physical workshop one day, if we're allowed to do face-to-face workshops ever, I'm going to send and say I'm doing one in Timmins, I'm not going to send that out to the people that I know from Belleville. So for me, region is important. Size of company is important. I'm going to send a different message to someone who has multiple locations trying to do their social media than someone who is a sole proprietor. So, size matters in what I do. Does size matter in what you guys and how they would use your products or services? And sales funnel. What I mean by that is, where are they in your sales funnel? Have they purchased from you already? So have they already been to a webinar and now I'm asking them to come to another one? Have they not been to a webinar in a number of years? Or have they never been to one of my webinars and I'm new to them and they've just signed up because I've met them maybe at a virtual trade show or something? So where are they in your sales funnel? Have they already purchased your art? Have they purchased something in the past? Are they someone that's just interested and might purchase in the future? So where are they in your sales funnel? Some of the clients I work with that are B2B, they have larger sales cycles. So they might have, so they'll indicate that in this area that I'm calling sales funnel. So how do you think you start building your list? So how do you even get an email list going? What are your thoughts? I can't even see the numbers. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so why do you think how do I show thumbnail? There we go. Put you down here. So how do you start your list? Well, you got to have a sign up form somewhere. So they're automatically going to put their email maybe on your website. So maybe you do that. Maybe you add sign-up forms on your social media pages. So you want to have the opportunity for them to sign up there. Maybe you include a call to action in your email, in your signature, in an email that you send out, and they sign up. That doesn't make any sense. You already have their email. I'm not sure why I put that one there. So anywhere else that you can ask people to subscribe to get a client's email, and then of course your clients, your actual clients, when they become a client, have you asked them permission to send them an email or something beyond their service information or their billing information or their product information? So what you want to do is, and this is what we do at Cortha TV, and this is what I'd like us to start doing at Knock on Wood, is when someone comes in at Cortha TV and they're writing up the sale, we ask them at the cash register when we physically had people in the store, can we add you to our EVP? You're going to get these coupons. And then they say yes, and we add them directly to our mailing list. So you need to be able to ask them. You're not allowed to send them an email unless they have explicitly given you permission. There's privacy laws around the ability to send someone an email. If they are a client and you have a relationship with them, you can send them emails for 2 years after the purchase or after that relationship started. Then after that, you're supposed to stop unless you have express consent from them that you can send them emails. So that's why asking them properly is important, because you don't want to get in trouble from the Privacy Commission on sending emails when you're not supposed to. So that's why having a sign-up form is important, because they have to check a box to say, yes, I would like your email sent. That's why having sign-up forms on social is important. If we ever go back to having physical exhibits or booths somewhere, what they have to be able to do is check a box and when they give you their email, and on there you need to have written, we will be sending you emails about this and this topic, and you're not allowed to send them other topics. So you want to have something that's worth them giving you their email for. And here's an example of a landing page. Lose your first 7 pounds, never feel deprived, email address, send me the free book. So this is a free ebook. Ebooks are easy because they're downloading it. Maybe there's a video that you want them to have access to. So what is it that you can give them access to that is worth getting their email? So that's one of the things that you need to think about. And these kind of landing pages can be created in Constant Contact or MailChimp. So these are tools that I'm going to talk about at the end of our time together of how to manage your email lists. And I use Constant Contact for myself. I use MailChimp for some of my clients. And MailChimp is a little less expensive than Constant Contact. I find Constant Contact a little easier to use. It gives me a little more flexibility, kind of like Wix gives me more flexibility. MailChimp has gotten a lot better. It lets you do a lot more things, but I find it's a little bit more, it doesn't let you resize photos to the same degree that Constant Contact does, for example. So here are some lead magnets. Here are some ideas of what people might give you their email in exchange. So maybe an ebook. Do you have some sort of ebook that you can give them on your knowledge? A guide on how to do something step by step. People like checklists as well, I find. I don't know if I've got checklists on here, but I find if I have a checklist for, maybe that would be under educational material, a checklist. Oh, there it is, checklist. Duh. Of course, I've got checklists, my favorite thing. So checklists is something that I find people will, the 7 steps to doing blank, give me your email. They give you the email, and then what you have associated with these landing pages is they automatically get the checklist or automatically get the ebook or a report. Or resource. These are different things that you might have in mind, or access to a video perhaps that was unlisted on YouTube and you're giving them the video link. So that is something you can do as well. That's a good idea, actually. So hope that makes some sense. So now this is more ideas of things that you can give them. And then this is getting just what you'll find, and what Brianna gives you is here is just more details on different ways that you can try and make it appealing, and ideas that others have done. And here are the type of ebooks, the type of guides, the type of reports, and it's showing you that they're asking for an email, a first name, and a last name. Now, one of the things that I don't like about this list here is I would also try and ask something that will help me segment my list. Like, what are their interests? Or if you are more so selling to people in different industry groups, what industry group are you in? So I would want a little bit more information than just email, first name, last name, but depends on what it is that you are selling. It depends on what you want. So why is segmentation so important? I kind of alluded to it. It helps you really target. So it really helps you target, but it also increases your open rates. So I'm going to target Scott in Belleville for something I'm doing in Belleville versus sending out an email to all of my 5,000 lists, my email, when I'm doing something in Belleville. Those people that are in Timmins or in London, Ontario aren't going to care that I'm doing something in Belleville. So, or I am going to send, if I've indicated that people are actually, these are all my retail clients, and I've been able to indicate these people are in retail, I can send them something specific for retail, or send them something specific if they're in tourism for tourism. So they're going to open it when it has something to do with them. So segmentation is so important. You get 40% more open rates, 24% more revenue and leads, and and I'm not sure about the 18% more transactions. Why would I get 20% more revenue? But anyways, so that's one of the things that I find really important. The more you can segment, the better you're going to do on your email when you send out a campaign. So segment you're describing. So imagine you have a session coming up to promote information session coming up, promotion for people who have an interest in one of three of your products. So they're only interested in one type of product. So maybe, Scott, they're only interested in pickup trucks. They're not interested in sports cars or, SUVs. So you're not going to send something about an information session or an information night to someone who's interested in an SUV when the information session is on pickup trucks. I'm making this totally up. But obviously, if it was just the people that were interested in the pickup trucks that you're sending it to them, they're going to get a lot more response. So that's what I'm talking about. So if you can imagine the kind of ways you might want to communicate to your target audience through email, those are the questions you have to ask when you are signing them up. So that's what I'm trying to get at. It's just that their name, their email, but what kind of questions do you have to ask when you're signing them up? Or if they're clients, what kind of questions should you be putting into the database? So I would always say region, interests, and add if they're a current or new client, meaning potential, hopefully become a client. I think I'm going to skip over some of this stuff. You're going to have it in your in the presentation that's sent to you. Yep. Yep. I'm going to skip over this. This is just, I love the stat that 63% of humans feel annoyed when they get a generic marketing offer versus one that is really targeted to them. So that's really why segmentation is so important. I just answered the question, what is personalization and why is it important? Another thing that's interesting is that 70% of organizations aren't doing the personalization like they could. So it's a really big opportunity for you not to mass market on your email list, but to really personalize it. And I find what 6% of emails are opened when they're personalized. 6% more are open. So personal content, personalized content is also a big trend in 2021. I was doing my trend video for what the trends are for 2021. And I remember that personalization was one of the big trends. Making sure your website and your Google listing was optimized for voice search was a big trend. So those were some of the big trends. Using video and live stream was a big trend. So those were some of the things. So what do you think you can personalize in an email? So just think about, you're sending out an email. What do you think you can personalize in it? So and again, I'm saying you're sending it out from something like Constant Contact or Sprouts or Constant Contact or MailChimp. And the reason I would suggest you send it out from those, I didn't really talk about that very much, versus just sending out an email, is I won't open up an email that is blind copied because I think it's spam. So I don't open all of those. They go into my spam filter. I want to make sure it's my email. So one of the things you can personalize is, of course, I'm going to send it right to Scott, right to Marlene. So it's going right to their email. I'm not blind copying. But what else do you think you can personalize? So you can personalize the name in the subject. And I'm finding when I actually put someone's name in the subject, I get a lot more opens. So I'm going to say, Scott, here's the information you're looking for, versus here's the information you're looking for. Or Marlene, here is the schedule for our next webinar. So versus here's the schedule for our next webinar. So that's in the actual subject line. And these tools, Constant Contact and MailChimp, allow you to enter, personalize the subject, which I love it. So it's the subject so you can add this name into the subject line. You can also add I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff here that I'm just going to share. You can also add Dear Scott versus Dear VIP. So in the body of the actual email, you can add their name as well. What I really like too, these systems allow you to say I send out 300 or 3,000 emails, and it sees who did not open them. So it can send a reminder just to those people who didn't open. And I can customize what the reminder says, or I can just resend it. So that's really cool. And another thing it lets you do is if I have different links throughout my email. So if I have a link to see more information about the Facebook webinar, and then I have another link, see more information about the LinkedIn webinar, then I can see who clicked on which one, and I can follow up, and I can indicate when I want to follow up to just those people who clicked on the LinkedIn one and remind them about the LinkedIn session. So it's that smart. I mean, I absolutely love the targeting and the personalization. It really does help in my productivity because I let it do a lot of the work for me, which is really cool. So like I said before, instead of saying dear valued client, say dear Steve. I would never use actually dear. I would say hello. But that was what I was writing at the time. And then, so you need to make sure steps for for personalization. You need to ask the right information up front. If I don't ask for the person's first name, I'm never going to be able to say Steve blank, 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 right? So I have to ask for their first name. I have to make sure that use a real reply email address. Steps to personalization. This is kind of out of order, but this is a tip more so than steps to personalization. If I'm sending something out from Kawartha TV and Stereo, I'm not going to use the info@Kawartha TV and Stereo email when I'm sending it, because nobody's going to open that. They won't open it as much as if I actually have it from Scott, who's the owner of that company, or if I have it from Sean, who's his lead sales guy from that company. So I make it from a real email. And I also, when they reply, I can change who the reply goes. So maybe it comes from Scott. It looks like it's coming from Scott because it is, but I can make the reply go to info@ if I want to. So that's kind of cool. But use your real email when you are sending them out to people, because that's going to get a lot more opens. I can also, okay, that's it. So another thing that is important for email marketing is to make sure what you're sending out is mobile friendly. Most people are doing their emails on their phones. Many people are. So if they get an email with an attachment of a PDF, they don't trust it. They're not going to open it. So you want to make sure, and that's another reason why I like these tools, Constant Contact. And do I have an example of that? No. What they actually, I thought I did. Nope. Okay. Anyways, what they actually will do is you're creating the actual email and you're creating it on your desktop, but then it lets you see what it's going to look like in mobile version, which is great. So you can see if they can actually see it. Is it easy for them to look at? So you're not attaching a flyer to it and just sending that out because that doesn't work. People want text, they want a few photos that are inserted, and they want to a call to action button where they click on something, go back to your website. So it's different than sending out just a email with a flyer. Don't do that. That's really bad form. So, and I think this has got to be higher by now, but they say in 2012, sending mobile friendly emails, only 27% were opening on mobile devices. It's up to 61% now. I think it's probably higher. I'm just going to continue. And this is important. You want to make sure your subject line is, I like starting it with the person's name and then having a short subject line. If I have a timeline, if I need them to know that there's, January 26th or say February 26th is the next webinar, I like to put information that this is time sensitive. So Scott, January 26th is your next webinar. So I like putting the date in there so they don't just say, oh, there's a webinar coming up. I'm sure it's, and then they don't go back to it. So I find that's important. This is the call to action buttons that we talked about before, where they know to click on something on the mobile devices. You want to make sure it's just not a little small click here and it's a little text that they have to click on. You can actually make sure that, and these tools will give you the ability to add a big red button that says click here, buy now. So they click on those call to action buttons